The average male fantasy. You can tell that this is a male fantasy because all of the people in this thumbnail are humans.
Men. What do they want? Money? Status? Fast, expensive cars? What is the ultimate male fantasy? Is it fame? Fortune? 3 hot chicks at once? Haha, hell yeah,
Good one.
brother. No, according to men on the internet, it's something a little more simple.
I haven't seen this.
This is literally just a fetish. I fucking hate men so much. Men are why we can't have nice things.
Bro, it's Hose Mad O'Clock. How the fuck does this happen? Where do these people come from? Jesus!
As I was working on an upcoming video, I made the terrible mistake of logging onto Twitter, where I saw this post.
Yeah,
a
nice
montage
post.
from the anime Josie, the Tiger, and the Fish, a movie about a college student who's assigned to take care of a paraplegic girl, and spoiler, eventually they fall in love.
Wow.
Many men were yearn posting in the replies of this tweet and talking about how they wish to fall in love and would love a relationship like this.
Sure,
while
obviously.
many others, mostly women, were absolutely f***ing disgusted at this. Why would a bunch of men be fantasizing
You've
about—
got to understand that the reason why a lot of girls are on the internet, like, this is something I came up with in my WoW guild, is that we had a really cute girl in our guild. And I said, okay, great, that's nice. And then my friend came up, he said, why do you think she's here? I said, what do you mean? He says, why do you think that there's no guy that's hanging out with her, that wants to be around her, if she's so hot? And I said, why? He says, because she's crazy. She's nuts. That's why she's on this game all day. This girl stole gold out of the guild bank, and when I called her out on it, she said she was stealing it to see if I still cared about the guild. It was one of the craziest reads that I've ever heard in my life. So anytime I see somebody like that on the internet, I always think about that time.
being with a woman in a wheelchair? Seems pretty creepy and predatory, right? Also just unrealistic and problematic.
No, it's not predatory at all. People in wheelchairs have absolute autonomy and they get to make decisions for themselves. The entire idea that you can't consent to things in a wheelchair is infantilizing to people that are disabled. Even somebody who's quadriplegic and has to communicate through a mouthpiece is still a human being, and they still get to make decisions for themselves. It's not like they aren't people. Of course they're people. And you see, like, the foundation of this is just so gross.
Well, in this video, we are going to be talking about why so many men resonated to that clip and this movie, and why so many people are so confused as to why. We're also going to be reading some absolutely unhinged tweets, as usual, to get to the bottom of why such a wholesome post turned into, once again, another battlefront for the ongoing, never-ending gender war.
It's women that have, like, all the girls that go and they say this shit. It's just they have bad, like if you ask a girl that makes one of these posts and you go, how's your relationship with your dad? How's your uncle? How is your last boyfriend? Why did you and your first boyfriend break up? Those 4 questions will answer almost every single time the reason why they're making those bad posts. They will.
Women, women versus men, the male loneliness epidemic, the female loneliness epidemic, the dealing with dating apps. Do men prefer thin women or curvy women? Brunettes or blondes? Do women like dad bods or fit men?
Jesus
Do they like
Christ.
beards or clean shaven? Oh yeah, that reminds me. Let's quickly get into today's sponsor, Henson Shaving.
What is this?
You ever just accept that some products are just garbage? Like, for years, I thought ripping your tights on the first wear was just a part of being a human woman. We just accepted that. That's just how it is, sweetie. But that shouldn't be how it is. It's a bad design. And that's why I like Henson Shaving. Because if you've ever used a multi-blade razor, you're probably sick of the irritation, the razor burn, the overpriced blades, and you probably think,
Yeah, I do that a lot, bro. Like, I could shave in a minute. Now, there'd be blood everywhere, but I could do it.
That's just the way it is.
Sometimes that's the cost.
But it doesn't have to be how it is. Thanks to Henson Shaving. Henson Shaving is on a mission to improve shaving, with no gimmicky subscriptions or moisturizing strips, but with real innovation and a focus on your skin's health. What really sets Henson apart is their engineering, with their Henson AL13 safety razor being manufactured in an aerospace machine shop that built parts for the International Space Station.
Wait, so you're what the?
This precision allows the blade to extend just 1/1000th of an inch beyond the shave plane, less than the thickness of a human hair. The razor prevents any bouncing or skipping, resulting in an irritation-free shave every time. And here's the best part. Once you invest in a Henson razor, it's a lifetime purchase. The only thing you'll need to replace are the blades, which literally cost only 10 cents each. So once you own the razor, you'll be spending like $3 to $5 on blades, compared to the ongoing cost.
It's actually a good deal. I'll be real, it is a good deal.
Buying expensive plastic cartridges. Henson's store offers a variety of colors and even a titanium version, so you can pick the razor that best fits your style. So if you're tired of razor burn and overpaying for blades, now is the perfect time to make the switch. Just head over to hensonshaving.com/shoe and add both a Henson razor and the 100 blades to your car, and then enter code SHOE at checkout to get the 100 blades for free with your purchase. Your skin, your wallet, and your environment will thank you.
Damn.
Big thanks to Henson Razor for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. You didn't skip the ad, right? Now, let's get back to the video.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. Damn, Mount Poor. It's $100. I don't know how much it is. I didn't even notice.
Not an anime connoisseur. In fact, I basically know nothing about anime. I am probably the most tourist of all the tourists. Yeah, hi. I have a question. Was the upskirt shot necessary in order to advance the plot?
Yes.
I watched Pokemon and Sailor Moon when I was a kid, and a few years ago I watched Beastars on Netflix. Legoshi, best boy. Not a furry, by the way.
Yeah,
and honestly, that's about it for my anime consumption. Unless you're counting VTubers. If you're counting VTubers, I watch a lot of anime.
Oh,
but because of this clip going viral, I watched Josie the Tiger and the Fish, and, well, I thought it was a good movie. I recommend watching it. I thought it was a really cute, good story. I only cried a little bit, and I completely understood what the tweet meant by calling it the average male fantasy. So, what was wrong with it? Why did this clip go so viral in
Because women go and they look at that clip and then they impose their own personal unresolved trauma onto the clip and they have to let it out, and so they're on Twitter and that's what they do. That's the reason why. I'll tell you, that's what it is.
There were thousands of people angry at this post. Well, let us dilly-dally no longer and read some of these angry replies to get a better understanding of what the issue is, shall we? Wholesome male fantasy, and it's fetishizing a disabled girl for him to control. Oh no.
What the hell do you mean?
Oh god.
Really?
Why? Always
That's
vulnerable,
nasty.
Always happy, always needs you.
Always happy. So what is this always happy? Like, what do you think, a guy wants to date a bitch? Like, absolutely not. They don't want to date. And this is the thing. Like, have you ever been around, like, one of these girls that, like, every time, like, there's always something wrong. There's always some sort of issue, some unresolved, like, complaint. There's something that happens, right? Always angry. Jesus, bro. There's some people that find the good in the bad, and there's some people that find the bad in the good. That's these people right here.
Be perverted. Where are these fan fictions coming from? There were like hundreds of tweets just like this.
Simple. Her bad experience with her boyfriend in senior year of high school. That's where they're coming from.
Why did they see a cute montage of a happy couple, a man and a woman happy, together? I know, unheard of. Why did they see that and then immediately come to these conclusions? Like, as someone who actually watched the movie, Josie is not always happy. And she's absolutely not portrayed as some, like, vulnerable, ooh-woo, sex doll waifu. She's boisterous, she kind of has a foul mouth, she's very sassy and headstrong, she like straight up calls him her servant, but she was also very depressed. She basically never left her house, she was basically a girl failure. As a former girl failure, I love to see representation in media. But they actually show her disability, like, not in a good way. Like, they don't romanticize it, they don't sugarcoat it. And I noticed, unlike a lot of movies, unlike a lot of romance movies, at least like the Hallmark kind, where it's like the stuffy male lead learning to live life from the quirky, cute female lead.
Yeah.
He's already got his shit together. And she learns to live life from him. He encourages her to live her dreams. And in return, he learns to live life in a completely different way.
See, people like this. This is the reason. This is why media sucks now in like Western media, and especially American media, is that every form of Western media is some type of lecture. It's some type of propaganda. It's some type of angle or something like that. Bro, that shit drives me crazy. Oh my God.
I thought that was really cool and sweet. Also, the animation was really good. Is anime good? Have I been sleeping on anime this entire time?
I did the same thing. I quit watching anime after my friend made me watch some bullshit anime, and I didn't come back until I saw Berserk. And then I thought to myself, maybe I don't have to watch anime that's in a high school. That shit's cringe. But I did watch Dan to Dan, and that was very good too. So, you know, I'm a little bit more reasonable now. But I stopped watching anime for 10 years because of that.
See, is that she becomes permanently disabled and helplessly dependent on him, but can still make him a sandwich? Sounds about right.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
Oh my god. After watching the movie, these tweets are even more insane. But even putting the movie aside, just seeing that like cute montage out of context.
Making a sandwich.
Where the fuck are they getting this? These are very clearly just two happy people. But because the caption was the average male fantasy, their mind immediately goes to the darkest, worst faith interpretation of this.
That's
the problem
right.
Is these people can't see any humanity in men. They can't see any humanity in
because
humanity.
because they hate men. That's the reason why. Like, everybody is like, why do people believe this dumb thing? Because they're dumb. That's the reason why. It's not complicated.
In general, average male fantasy equals girlfriend with no agency who's completely physically dependent.
You know what my favorite part about all these comments is? The implicit assumption that disabled people are just these like invalid dolls that just get pushed around by somebody else with a mission. Like, really, like it's just, yeah, like they're not even people. Like drones, yes.
On you and forced into blanket subservience and compliance. Sounds about right. You males are weird for fetishizing physically disabled women. Average male fantasy is having a physically disabled girl that they can abuse however they want. Got it. Not to be that guy. I'm gonna be that guy. The infantilization of the physically disabled here is a little, dare I say, ableist?
Yeah, exactly.
The implication here that people in wheelchairs cannot find love, and if they do, the person who loves them literally just loves them because they can't run away. Weird. Average men can't even be nice to their healthy and normal girlfriend. What makes you think they'll be able to handle disabled person?
Guaranteed she got broke up with. Guaranteed. Bro, that's exactly what happened. Like, some dude broke up with her. And that's the thing. It's the same reason. Have you ever noticed like all the girls that complain about men playing video games are obnoxious and annoying? Well, the reason why is because if you're a high value girl, your boyfriend is going to put down video games and he will spend time with you all the time. Have you guys ever had this happen where like you were in a relationship, hopefully you still are, with a girl that's great, and like anytime that she would want something, you would stop playing the game and spend time with her? But then also you've been in a relationship when you're like, okay, is it it's time for my daily quests. Yeah, no, I'm playing a game right now. Yeah, for sure. No, I got it. Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, and the reason why is because, again, the reason why these girls hate video games is because they're less interesting than video games. And video games beat them out.
Their lover. Whoa.
Yep.
Normal? What do you mean by normal? These people are just so ableist, chat. Can you believe it? Chat? I don't even live stream. Who's chat? I'm disabled, blind. So I showed this to my boyfriend. He says, I love you because you're you, and you make my days happier.
Then how did you know what it was? Text to speech? But this isn't text, it's a video.
So what if I have to drive you places or help you with cooking and cleaning? I would have done that anyway. Disability has nothing to do with it. I love you.
Ma'am, I don't know how to tell you this, but, your boyfriend is a rapist. Sorry you had to find out this way.
You show this as fantasy because it's not true for the majority of men who participate in abuse of disabled people. No.
What? How does this have 1,000 likes? What the hell do you mean? So blind people watch movies, use computers. It's 2025, bro. You're right. Oh, 100%. You lost 100% of your sight. Oh, that's true. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. That's true.
An abuse of disabled people. No, the fantasy is the woman appreciates his efforts to make her happy.
Yeah.
Stop lying and abusing women and the disabled.
Oh, jeez.
Your meds, schizo. You don't even know that f***ing guy. What do you mean stop abusing women and the disabled?
Bro, you know, somebody said that this is like, these comments are actually just them arguing with their ex. And I love that. I think that's so true.
Bitch, who are you? Also, the majority of men participate in abuse of disabled people.
The majority, most.
Are you okay?
What?
The majority of men are not abusers. That is a very, very small minority of men.
Crazy.
The majority of men are men that just wake up, take a shit, get out of bed, take a shower, go to work, come home, and wait for GTA 6 to come out.
What do you mean work?
That is the majority of men.
What do you mean work?
Men commit 95% of all rape, but okay.
What?
Barging into the romance section of Barnes & Noble like, attention everyone!
Men are bad.
Where is that coming
The majority,
from?
yeah.
So close. This is fetish content.
Ah yes, the dirtiest, most taboo of all fetishes. A happy relationship. Honestly, in 2025...
For a lot of people nowadays, it is. Because that makes them fucking furious.
That might be true. Oh,
Yeah.
you want a wife and kids? You sick fuck.
But this is literally just a perverted fantasy, LMAO.
You think it's a perverted fantasy because... How do I put this nicely? You are a pervert. Literally seeing a cute montage of a male and female character having fun together, being in love together, and being like, rape! He's a rapist! This is a fetish! Are these people okay? Stop watching porn!
No, they're not. They're making video games and fucking up media, though. That's the problem. Is that these are the kinds of people that go into your favorite video games and add a self-insert of themselves. And here's the problem with that, is that we play video games to get away from them. I explicitly play video games to get away from those people. And then they worm their way into the video game, and I have to deal with them in the game, and there's no PvP in the game either, so I've got to fucking deal with it.
Wait, this is a woman. Okay, stop reading Taken by the Werewolf Billionaire.
Oh, God.
Or whatever the
Oh,
fuck
no.
you read. I swear to God, some of the shit women read would make the most depraved internet gooner blush.
Yeah, it's weird.
Or so I've been told.
This is literally just a fetish.
I thought she
Okay,
said she
listen,
wasn't a
I'm not
furry.
gonna pretend there's nobody out there who's like, she can't run away, she has no legs.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and pretend there's nobody out there who has a crippled, disabled fetish, okay? I've been on the internet for
Well, no, it gets even better than that. Don't forget it. Y'all remember about that that girl that gave herself an AI face filter to have Down syndrome, and she did an OnlyFans, and she made like $100,000. No, that's some real dark shit. That's some of that real. Oh, that's the real bad shit there.
20 years. I've been on DeviantArt. I've seen shit you wouldn't believe. But the majority of
thousands now?
people,
It worked, yeah.
probably most, if not all the people responding to this, do not have a cripple fetish,
That's
okay?
wild.
In fact, her being in a wheelchair basically has nothing to do with it. Much like how females coom over, like, vampires or, like I said before, the billionaire werewolf fantasy. This is just the average male fantasy distilled down to its most extreme. So what is the average male fantasy? The average male fantasy is the fantasy of both men and women alike. It is simply to love and to be loved. But more specifically, the male fantasy is to be a protector and a provider for those that they love. Put a pin—
It's crazy how like so many teenagers think that they can reinvent this every like 5 years, and they'll go on the internet and start some new cause to try to like reinvent gender roles. Like, oh, I just discovered this, and I actually, you know what? I have a totally different view of the world, and I think that everybody else was wrong except for me. I just graduated high school, so you know I'm really smart.
In this because we are going to come back to this in a big way.
This would have never happened. See, this would never happen if you sent those kids to the coal mines. It would never happen. Always keep that in mind.
Trust me, the average male fantasy is being a globally known terrorist. The average male fantasy is that a woman who isn't fat.
You know, I mean, shit.
The average male fantasy is actually job security.
You know what? These guys may have a point here.
Pedophile alert. Men want disabled child wives. Average male fantasy is a disabled child. More proof that men are pedos. That's a little girl. This is weird.
What? So, first of all, she's literally older than the guy. The guy is 22 and she is 24. In anime years, he is practically
he's 50.
Maxing. And yes, she may be physically disabled, but aren't all men mentally disabled in their own special way? At least the ones in my audience.
Yeah.
They will freely admit this. Maybe she, the older woman, is taking
I'm actually the only person who isn't mentally disabled. Everybody else is.
Advantage of this sensitive young man. Have you ever thought of that?
Yeah.
She looks like an 11-year-old child. Where are her breasts?
Guaranteed that's a fatty. Guaranteed. You know that's a certified hog. I could bet $1 million on that, bro. That's a hog take, absolutely.
First of all, really weird way to say that. She looks like a child.
You see a lot of there's a lot of fat chicks that make fun of thin girls for having smaller boobs, and or like anything like that. Like you see this constantly. And it's like, yeah, obviously, like, yeah, of course you're going to have, like, I mean, you're like 350 pounds, right? Hog take? No, I mean, but it is, though, right? It is.
Show me her titties. Also, I love how, like, when anime women have huge boobs, it's disgusting, Coomer porn.
Yeah, exactly. You're either making gooner content or you are making content that looks like kids. Sure. Yeah, so maybe it's just these people don't like it.
Or whatever. But if the anime woman has small boobs, she's a child and you're a chimo. Can't fucking win. Also, if she had big boobs, they'd absolutely be like, wow, look at this sexualization.
Yeah, it would just be something else.
Of the disabled. Also, you know, like, adult women can be flat-chested, right? Like, that actually exists in real life. Like, adult human women.
I know, it's very unfortunate. I've had to come to terms with this myself.
Can have small boobs.
Yeah.
We love all titties here on the Shoe on Head channel. All
I know.
titties is good titties.
I know.
End of story.
Women fantasy, a boyfriend with depth, and the loving, soft, deeply caring side of them. Men's fantasy, 12-year-old anime girl who looks and speaks like a toddler. Also notice how she's literally the shape and size of a child.
Oh my god.
Have you people ever seen a child? No. You're all
Don't ask that.
childless. Silly me.
I think that actually a lot of them are kids themselves. They're probably 14-year-olds. So you have to keep in mind that a good percentage of the opinions that you've read recently about the war in Iran have been crafted by preteens. You have probably read a 12-year-old's opinion about the war in Iran in the last week, and you might not even know it. Think about how terrifying that is. Yeah.
She's not even that short. She's just sitting. See, like when they're laying side by side, she's like a full-grown adult woman. Why do these people look at this and immediately think of child rape? Go to therapy. And listen, I know with anime it can get a little weird, right? Like, excuse me, Poo Poo Pee Pee Chan is 2,000 years old and—
Well, that's the problem, right?
is poo poo pee pee chan.
Yeah.
But this does not even look
that's
like.
the issue, is that like there is weird stuff in anime, but when these people constantly try to like muddy the waters and say that any time that a character doesn't have ridiculous curvy proportions, that it's automatically like some sort of like weird thing, you water it down. And like now nobody takes it seriously.
A child. This looks like a cute woman. This is like a random rant, but I feel like there are no more cute women nowadays. You know what I mean?
Uh-oh.
You have all like the Insta baddies,
Yep.
the e-thoughts,
Oh.
the e-girls,
Oh.
the muscle mommies,
Yep.
the boss babes, the boy babes. But I
Jesus.
feel like every woman is just hot now. Which, by the way, I don't think is healthy for the male psyche whatsoever. You shouldn't wake up and be able to scroll through pictures of, like, the hottest woman you've ever seen in your life, like, 20 times before you've had, like, your morning cup of coffee. You shouldn't
That's my favorite part of the day.
log in and immediately be one-shotted by 10 tens all
Yep.
day. As if that wouldn't make you go insane. As if that wouldn't make you crash out. Like, back in the day, you'd probably see, like, one fine dame on your bus ride to work, and you
Yeah.
think about her for 40 years until the day you die. That's how it used to be. That's how it should be.
Well, now the best part about it on Instagram now is they're not even girls. It's some AI generated girl, and it's a bunch of guys that are like responding to her in some foreign language, and like you press Google Translate and it says, "Please come and live on my farm." You know, like that's it. Y'all notice that?
Every woman is like a crazy, hot, unobtainable Instagram goddess with the fattest of ass. Zoomers don't know how good we had it. You'd go to Blockbuster and the 21-year-old cashier behind the counter would be the most adorable woman you've ever seen.
Yeah.
No Botox, no lip filler, just a pure soul, full of joy and whimsy. And now women are full of hate and SSRIs.
Yeah.
But they're hot. They're hotter than they've ever been. They're hotter and more depressed.
Are women hotter now? I mean, I feel like I don't know. I'd really have to think about that. Like, because it's so hard to say. I mean, like maybe in some places, but not really. Like this is the problem, and she not really talking about this, but somebody got to say it. OnlyFans and like content creation and all this kind of stuff did irreparable damage to men. Because like now, the thing is like every really, really pretty girl, there's a high probability that she's on OnlyFans or making Instagram stuff, or she's a model on the internet or something like that. And so like what happens is that you have all these girls, like back in the day, you know, you used to be able to go there and see like a 9 or a 10. Well, now all those 9s and 10s are on the internet making more money. So the issue is that you have like, it's not hoflation, it's ho deflation. And so like now a lot of those like really, really high tier hot girls, you don't see them in public anymore. That's the issue. The tents are in Dubai. Yeah, exactly, right? And so that's it. And so it's gone down.
Than they've ever been in history.
Yep.
Sad.
Disagree?
What were we talking
No,
about?
it's just logical. It's perfectly logical. It's a whole recession, is what I'm saying.
I didn't take my Vyvanse today, could you tell?
Men's fantasy. A big titty woman with the face of a 16-year-old that is useful for cooking, cleaning, and sex. Women's fantasy. Gets treated like a queen and a man who keeps tracks of our periods so he can take care of us.
Bold of her to say man. Yeah, I don't know about that. Sure.
I think I speak for a lot of women here when I say our fantasies do not, in fact, include men tracking our periods. Personally, if my husband was like, honey, just a reminder, you're in your luteal phase,
Yeah.
I'm taking the kids.
Men like to pretend they want this, and then they beat their wife when dinner isn't ready or their son when he's misbehaving.
Bro, just call your dad. Just stop it. Come on, you've got to move past this. Jesus. Unresolved personal trauma. Again.
First of all, I'm sorry that happened to you. But there are, in fact, good
Yeah,
men out there.
obviously.
I've seen them. Some may be in this very audience. Sorry, I couldn't keep a straight face. This is the shoe on head audience. You're all gremlins.
Male fantasy
I know.
equals a woman that can't run away from him. A woman that's dependent on him. Interesting.
What's wrong with wanting to support your wife? That's what we did for like fucking 4,000 years. What do you think? You have a better idea? You want to go work in the HR department instead of having kids? Okay. You get 4 cats. So go ahead. You'd be that great. Live your life. You do you.
When men are involved, it's basic survival instinct to assume the worst. Men are
Yeah.
guilty until they prove themselves innocent. You know,
Dude, every single one of these, it's just fucking it's weaponized mental illness. Schizotech? I know. It's insane, isn't it?
innocent.
You know what? I take my opinions back on free speech. I changed my mind.
Yeah.
No more free speech.
This is what I was saying about voting. We've got to stop voting. We've got to figure out a way to turn that off. Like, I think that we have, like, because it says in the amendment, right, that everybody has a right to vote, but it never said in the amendment that everybody has a right to have their vote counted. I think that we can work on that. We can build on that.
No more free speech until you bitches learn
Yeah.
to behave.
A woman's fantasy is a man who won't rape
about
her,
that?
and a man's fantasy is raping a woman.
Oh my god! Damn, bitch! Take your fucking meds. That's good. Oh my god.
Woman.
I'm sorry. Where is the rape,
What?
ma'am?
Maybe that's how you see it, because you're brainwashed to hate men.
So true. I hate how.
But in reality, women are the real demons here.
Oh goddamn.
That's right.
We just want a happy relationship. Is it so much to ask for?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Oh look, more misogynistic gooner fantasy slop written by misogynistic gooner men. This is why 70% of anime is garbage.
I really, honestly, she's so nice for, like, not including these people's profiles. You guys know, for me, I will just put somebody on blast, bro. I will pull up their profile. I will look at, like, old tweets they've made about, like, you know, their mental health in 2021. Like, bro, like, I will go all the way. This is what I used to love to do on Facebook, right? It's like anytime that somebody would be mean to me on Facebook, I would just open up their profile picture and I would just read their biography, and I would immediately not care what they said. I would be like, oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
So, here's the thing that,
You always go
misogynistic
scorched earth? Yeah, of course.
gooner fantasy slop written by misogynistic gooner men was
written by
actually
a woman?
written by Saiko Tanabe, a woman.
Oh.
A woman wrote this story.
That's right.
And I feel like a very important detail everyone is sleeping on when they covered this was the fact that this is very much the female fantasy as well. A man loving you for who you are despite your flaws,
Yeah.
literally sweeping you off your feet and carrying you around on adventures, helping you live out your dreams, face your fears, and supporting you through the good and bad times. You're going to sit here and tell me that's not the female fantasy too? Is this not the
No, the female fantasy is some weird fucking distorted thing that, and again, the reason why, and maybe this is going to sound sexist, and, you know, welcome to the show, but, have you guys ever noticed that I think in a lot of these, like, female romance things, it's always like this narcissistic thing where the guy has everything that he needs, but for some reason he also needs you, and he has to change or reorient his life or make some sort of big commitment to you because, you know, you're so important. Right? I mean, it's always playing into those games, right? Wow. What are the odds?
basic female fantasy? Is this not
The Man and the
nut-
Bear? Well, in those books, it's the same thing.
knight in shining armor coming to rescue you and falling in love with you? Why on earth are so many women so mad at this? Are men now the hopeless romantics? Are men now the ones yearning for a fairy tale romance? Is this why all the Disney remakes are like, she's not gonna be saved by the prince, she's a strong, independent woman? Meanwhile, men still want to be the prince, men still want to be the knight in shining armor. Men are like,
Well, the problem is that it's always weird for me to see people's teeth. It's crazy how many of them somebody's supposed to have. That's a lot.
I will save you from your monotonous 9 to 5 job. I will give you a house and babies.
You believe that?
And women are like, no, I must be an actuarial consultant. Be gone, vile misogynist. Yep. Is that what is occurring here? Also, that aside, there literally is a gender-swapped version of this story called Perfect World. It is a manga. Mango?
Uh-huh.
I don't
It's
know.
manga.
Do not come for me,
Yeah.
weebs.
Men will statistically leave their wives and partners the moment they find out they're disabled or have a life-threatening condition. You're right, it is a fantasy.
What was his name? Just tell us. What did you have?
Actually, that study was debunked by the authors themselves, who admitted they did the math wrong. It's actually not much higher, but then again, even if it was, and it happens, I've seen it happen to people, it's terrible. Marriage should be through sickness and through health. But that's not really the point here. And the fact that so many people are focusing on the wheelchair part of this just proves that they just don't get it. The ones of pure mind and pure soul get it. But these fucking semen demons out here, they don't get it.
These are the same ones that, like, they get really mad about Freerin because Freerin kills demons. It's like, if you're the kind of person that, like, you're watching Freerin and you keep being like, yeah, this demon really reminds me of myself, I think you might have a problem.
Not all semen demons.
Yeah.
The amount of people in comments who just don't get that men want a cute, loving girlfriend is beyond me. They call them creeps for wanting actual love and not a girl boss who only wants your money.
Yeah.
Ah, thank you. A sane person.
She's a VTuber.
Hopefully the replies aren't full of people calling her a pick-me.
Pick-me alert, least obvious pick.
Pick me. Oh, God. Pick me is the female version of simp.
Pick me. Me, pick me please. Hope he picks you, sis.
Why would a girl also not want to be picked? Also, I don't even understand this. Like, I don't get this. Like, wouldn't you want a guy that you like to pick you? And on the opposite thing, you want to find a wife or a girlfriend that's worth simping for. That's the whole point. Again, unresolved personal trauma. Every single time.
Pick me, pick me, pick me.
Yep.
An incel could have written this.
They're jealous?
Fuck.
Yes.
Why are so many VTubers either pick-me's or racist?
You mean why
Because they follow my stream. I don't know why so many VTubers like me, but that's the reason.
do so many female VTubers disagree
This is the
with
home base of racism.
you? Why so many aren't towing the mainstream liberal feminist NPC line?
Yes.
Because they can. See, the most powerful weapon women have against other women is social ostracization.
That's
You
right.
don't want to be
That's what
seen
they
as a
do.
pick-me or a racist, so you keep your mouth shut in order to survive in female social circles. But in the cases of VTubers, virtual YouTubers, they're basically anonymous. They can say anything they want. They're basically wearing a mask. They're free from
Well,
the
it's also because the majority of people I think that watch VTubers are guys, right? I mean, like, I don't know, but, like, I bet it's probably an 80-20 at least, probably more than that. And so, like, if you have an audience of guys, I mean, really, like, if you are at a steakhouse, you want to make steaks, right? And so if you are, you know, you've got a male audience, well, you're going to do and make things for men, like not makeup tutorials, obviously, right?
chains of the eternal HR
95.5?
Longhouse.
I
But
was trying to
apparently
be
even being
generous,
anonymous
okay?
online
I'm trying to
does
be a
not
nice
save
guy.
them because they still get doxxed for simply not hating men.
Oh, I remember her.
Lovely. Maybe I should save this rant for a different video someday. Moving on.
Men are why we can't have nice things, by the way.
First of all,
I can guarantee you that her list of nice things are all things made by men.
men make all the
Yeah.
things.
Of course
Thank
they
you.
do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, I just realized it was a man saying that. It was a whole ass man saying men are why we can't have nice things. I don't deserve this trophy. This is for you, sir. This
Well,
is for
they
you.
do that in order to get the girls. That's the reason why. There's plenty of guys that do that. They'll, you know, get into the self-depreciation in order. It's a mating technique. That's
I'm
it.
not
It
worthy.
doesn't work,
Listen,
but,
I
you
make
know,
women jokes.
they try to
I'm
do
very
it.
critical of feminism and
Yeah.
propaganda aimed at women. But you will never catch me in a million years saying some like women are why we can't have nice things. I have a mom. I have female family
for me.
members. I have female friends. Maybe one day I'll have a daughter. Women make the world a beautiful place, and like men, can be flawed and deserve criticism like anyone else. But there's
That's
something
one of my favorite things is that every time a girl does something wrong and somebody says you're wrong for doing that, people go and they're like, wow, why do you hate women? What? What are you talking about? What do you mean?
genuinely so cucked about people who put down their own gender or
seen that?
race. Oh god, race. Self-hating white people. Don't get me started on self-hating white people. White people are so evil. I hate being white. White people can't dance. White people food.
I love saying bad things about white people. I would be way more racist if I could, but I can't. And so but the one socially acceptable part of being racist is I can at least be racist to white people because I'm white. I do as much as I can, guys. Okay? I do as much as I possibly can.
So gross. You're not
Probably
getting
a
into
little bit too
Wakanda, bro.
much.
You're not getting invited to the cookout.
Yep.
Enough. But yeah, women were not the only ones who had a problem with this. There were a lot of men who didn't quite relate to this being the average male fantasy.
It's fine to love the disabled. I didn't need to remind you that. But you glorify it? This anime is certainly Marxist propaganda. The movie is about
What?
him taking a job as her
What?
caretaker, and when he learns of her dreams, he makes it his mission to help her dreams come true. So it is Marxist propaganda to help a disabled person pursue their dreams? Yeah, it's woven in. Empathy is the target of propaganda.
Marxism is
Probably 2 high school students. Really? Like, I honestly think that social media would be so much better if it told you how old the person is that's making the post. That's all I need to know. Actually, no, 2 things. How old they are and how much they weigh. That's all I need to know. And if I see like a 14,400, I don't even read it. Yep, I don't even read it. I don't want to hear. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to hear that, man. I just scroll.
when girl in wheelchair. I love this. Empathy is the target of propaganda.
Yeah.
Every piece of media that makes you feel empathy is communism. Political brain rot. If you're at the point where you see this and you're thinking of communism, you need to log off.
Yeah.
You are unwell.
I'm sorry, but when I reproduce, I don't want a high probability of my offspring being mentally or physically retarded.
What?
We need a better class of incels whose bar is higher than the retarded.
Jesus.
She's not retarded. She has a spinal injury that's not genetic. Also, what is this LARP? I love how everyone is just kind of having like a normal conversation about this clip.
Yeah.
And this guy just comes out of nowhere like, I would never put my pure white seed in such a vile creature.
Yeah, bro,
Like,
a eugenics enjoyer.
absolutely know this guy has a
Oh,
non-white
yeah.
girlfriend. They all do. All these like I hate white people women always have white boyfriends. All these I hate non-white people boys always have non-white girlfriends. I don't know
Yep.
what it is, but I've seen it too many times. I guarantee you when this man logs off of his Black Sun Roman statue Twitter account, he's clapping Latina booty cheeks.
My fantasy is
I've got a feeling he's not.
not being a simp, but okay.
Fellas,
Yeah.
is it simping to love a woman?
Yeah, I got
Nah,
a feeling
this is not
he's
the male
not.
fantasy. That man is a beta male. If she wasn't in a wheelchair, she would leave him for Chad.
Oh, God, not this again. Oh, Jesus. Basically, every single one of my friends that I've grown up with is either married or has a kid. And so, not every single one of my friends are Chads. Like, this is just like, it's just bullshit. It's just total bullshit. Go to Walmart. You're gonna see plenty of guys with their wife and kids, and it's just 2 average people. That's it. It's insane. Remember what I told you guys. I remember what I said. All of our problems in society come from 2 groups of people: Karens and incels. There it is. That's it. That's all the problems.
Fellas, is it beta to love a woman?
This is not my fantasy. This is some gay shit, to be honest.
Fellas, is it gay to love a woman?
What no pussy does to a motherfucker.
Jesus Christ.
Brother, I've seen what pussy does to a motherfucker.
It's worse.
And it's far worse.
Yeah.
The average male fantasy is taking care of their crippled wife. I don't think I've ever had that fantasy
Jesus
before.
Christ, bro, like, this is a what would you do if you didn't have breakfast today level opinion. You're like literally unable to like process anything beyond, like, again, this is probably a 15-year-old.
I thought it was going to be about going on some quest to kill the dragon to win the princess or something.
Sure.
It is. That is the average male fantasy.
Yeah.
But there are no dragons to slay. There are no princesses to save.
That's right.
But there is that little old lady in the grocery store who can't quite reach that top shelf.
Band
There's that
miners
heavy
from the
box
internet?
the
Yeah.
pretty girl you work with can't quite lift herself. There's that jar of tomato sauce your wife can't quite open. There's that Lego set your little son can't quite put together himself. Or there is this paraplegic girl who wants to see the ocean. This
That's
is
nice.
the princess and the dragon story. And despite what many are told, men do have a lot of love to give. And they want some kind of excuse or mechanism to show
Well,
that
the thing is that if you're one of these girls and every guy that you're dating turns out to be an awful person, if you're the common denominator in all of these bad interactions,
that love. In a world where men
Yeah.
expressing themselves is either seen as toxic or gay. And one way of expressing that love is solving problems.
Uh-oh.
Men fucking love solving problems. I don't know what it is. They also love reading Wikipedia articles. The amount of times I walked over and my husband is reading a random fucking Wikipedia article about like the world's tallest buildings or like a random battle in World War II. I didn't know if this was autism or what, but apparently it's a man thing. Anyway, yes, men love solving problems. And in a world that makes them feel useless, makes them feel like they have no purpose, men desperately feel like they need to prove their worth.
that's why all guys play video games, by the way. It's because young guys don't have anything that they can do that gives them any sense of self-worth. So, like, if you're like 18, you're basically a retarded loser that you're level 18, right? I mean, you can't do anything. Maybe you can get into a Dead Minds group, maybe not. The fact is, like, nobody wants to deal with you. Nobody cares about you. You're an idiot. And so, like, that's the reason why guys go to video games, is because it gives them an even playing field that they can exist on and still feel good about themselves with. That's the reason why. No, I'm telling you guys, like, that's actually true. Like, and I think that's why a lot of young guys care so much about gaming, and they like, you know, hate pay to win, right? And stuff like that, is because it destroys the fantasy. Yeah.
desperately looking for a purpose in life. So it is not at all shocking to me that the modern young man is seeing a clip like this and longing for this. A lot of modern men don't have a chance to prove themselves, to make something of their lives. They don't have a chance to provide anything for anyone because they don't have anything to provide and they don't have anyone. They are doing everything their grandfathers did, but seeing none of the results.
In my opinion, I actually think that, like, I mean, yeah, guys have problems in their lives, but I think that the majority of people that have issues, generally it comes from themselves. Like, I've always had the viewpoint that every problem that I encounter is my fault, and that's where I start from. And then I kind of work backwards from that to decide whether it actually is my fault or not. But, like, my default is assuming that it's actually my fault that this situation happens. But she is right that I think that guys nowadays, like, I think that men don't have any real level of, like, intrinsic, like, respect in a lot of cases. And that's not something that maybe men should necessarily deserve. But I think that society now has tried to maintain the privileges of women while eroding the privileges of men. And so, for example, men are still expected to do certain chivalrous things, but women aren't expected to reciprocate that in a way that a woman would. And I think that's really the problem. And again, this is who causes that problem? Karens. That's right. Karens caused that problem. And so Karens cause this problem and they make everything worse. And so gender dynamic shift, yes, exactly. And so like giving up the seat earlier, yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, I have the viewpoint, like I'm very much a traditional kind of guy, you know, and I would give up my seat for a woman for sure. It would not even, I wouldn't even think about it. But the difference is that like a lot of guys, I think they have a level of resentment about this because they view this as being unfair. I wouldn't. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, just you do whatever you want to do, right? I mean, that's all.
Are lost. What can they provide? And as I said earlier, her being in a wheelchair is the protector and provider instinct taken to a extreme. And yes, it is a fantasy, considering if you ask anyone who's actually in a wheelchair, they know it's not all butterflies and rainbows, and they know that it's hard on relationships. It can be difficult on their partner. But just like in the movie, it's not shown as butterflies and rainbows. Josie feels like a burden. But towards the end of the movie, the guy takes on that burden. Not because he gets something in return, but because it's his duty. Because it makes her happy, which makes him happy in return. Loyalty, duty, virtue, acts of service, big or small.
Yeah, this is the way I can tell if a game is going to be good. Is like if the game has in the beginning of it where it says something like duty or honor, or like I'm trying to think. There's like one more. Like if it's talking about like your oath to the Knight Templar, I'm like, okay, maybe this game's actually going to be good. You know, but if it's like everything's purple and they're bringing in like all these characters that are bald and they say stupid things and like you don't know if it's a girl or a boy, like yeah, the game's gonna be garbage.
Men
like
live
Valor,
for that shit.
yeah,
these are
exactly.
stereotypes. Not everyone fits into these boxes. Blah 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 blah. But for the most part, it's true. When many men look at this relationship, that is what they see. And a lot of modern women.
Well, what I find to be kind of funny about it is that it kind of the fact that like it resonated with a lot of guys kind of defeats the idea that, you know, women need to attain some sort of like physical appearance or anything like that. You know, bro, her legs don't work and he still likes her. So just don't be fucking obnoxious and you're going to be okay. Imagine that.
Looking at this relationship and being disgusted because in a way, it's the complete inverse of the strong, independent woman they've been sold. They've been told they need to be. The modern woman crafted by modern Disney for modern audiences. Unlike the Hollywood crafted modern woman, this woman does need her man. She is not strong and she's not independent, at least physically. This doesn't mean she's like an empty vessel with no thoughts or freedom. No, in fact, in the movie, Josie does roll away from him a few times. It is a fantasy not because of a power imbalance, but because the man has a tangible purpose, and the woman is willingly and lovingly letting him fulfill that purpose.
Yeah, imagine that. It's fucking obvious, right? And like the thing is that this is again the issue is that you have teenagers that are going and saying this shit on the internet. Like I do genuinely believe that 90% of these comments would go away if you didn't let like underage people on the internet. I think most of the stupid comments are actually just from kids. That's it.
I can depend on you.
Yeah, the 14400s, bro. Get them out.
I know that if I ever feel frightened, I can just reach out to you.
Men simply want something good to die for, to make it beautiful to live. This manifests in a lot of ways, but the most common is having a loving partner and or a family. Something unobtainable to many people nowadays. So yes, literally one of the most normal things ever is
a lot of guys feel like they can't really go and achieve like a normal life, a successful life. And I think that because of that, that's what's really caused them to react this way. That's what's caused them to be so angry. And this is why a lot of guys, you know, become incels or they don't really try to get jobs anymore, is that like the idea of working really, really hard to get a job that pays you $60,000 when it, you know, that's not a lot of money, right? Just like a below average job, to not be taken seriously at all, to, you know, lose opportunities because of maybe your identity or something else. All of those things coming together, I feel like that's definitely where it's going to happen. Yeah, Karens create incels too. They definitely do. They absolutely do.
A fantasy. Sad. Also, men will deny this, but they absolutely have a biological clock. It may not hit in your teens or your 20s, but one day you're going to have a dream. You have a little daughter making you pancakes with your wife in the morning, and you're not going to be able to get it out of your head. And that is the male biological clock. Everything you do, the money you make working that grating 9-to-5 job, it will all be for something bigger and more important than yourself one day. You will come home to a warm and happy home, greeted by people who care about you, and love you, and rely on you, and everything will make sense then.
Surely, guys.
Until then, you'll just be on the internet, being called a misogynist, for wanting something bigger and more important than yourself, for wanting something beautiful and normal. And that is the average male fantasy. That and 3 hot chicks at once. Hell yeah, brother!
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that was that little video. Men in the comments, let me know. Am I correct? Is that the average male fantasy? Or is it not that deep?
I think a lot of people just want to be able to live their life without having any sort of like real stress or pressure or like anything like that. Just overall, I mean, I don't think that a lot of people really want to date a person that's disabled specifically, right? Obviously, it'd be kind of weird if you wanted to specifically date a disabled person, but like, it's mainly about people just having a relationship where, you know, they're reciprocated, treated fairly, and treated right. You know, it's really just that simple. Yeah, men mainly want peace, and I think that a lot of women are not that. They create, like, there's a lot of people that kind of, and I've noticed this, and this isn't just women, right? But like, again, like I always talk about this, like in terms of like of girls, but like obviously guys act this way too. There's a lot of women that like they almost, you know, they act wild or not really. Let me think a good way to say this. How can I say this where it's like not bad? Basically, they need to get talked off a cliff that they put themselves on all the time. And it's exhausting for a guy to deal with that. It's exhausting. Like, they're erratic, you know, chaotic. Yeah, like I think there's women that are chaotic. And I think that a lot of men, and this especially becomes true, I think, as guys get older, is that men increasingly want much less to do with any type of extreme erratic behavior. Because they're probably stressed out about their job, they're stressed out about something else. That's it. Women love drama. Well, some of them do, and guys do too, right? But guys, I think, just don't want to deal with that in general.
And women in the comments, what is your fantasy? And no, I don't mean that. I don't want to hear about how you want to be crushed by a 12-foot futa. That is between you and God, not you and Shoe-on-Head. I mean, what is your ultimate dream? Do you want to travel the world? Do you want a nice big family one day? Do you want to own a...
Give me 1 second. All right, go ahead.
I'm Mark. Okay, we good?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, one thing that nobody ever mentions in any of this is that all the guys that grew up with no father, they never saw a normal relationship between a man and a woman, a happy relationship. What you said is everybody, men, what they really want is peace.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I find that it wasn't true for me so much when I was younger, but it is, you know, the older I got, the more I was like that.
Yeah, that's what I said, yeah.
And where, on the other side, women grow up with just mom. And mom had her husband, you know, leave her for his assistant, you know, at the office, or because she left him because he beat her,
yeah.
You know, or, you know, somehow she got shorted in the deal.
Yep.
And a few guys, you know, I'd be in bars and these guys would be whining around about, can't live with him, can't live without him. You know, well, fuck you. You know, the drink he's buying. But anyway, there's no model for these guys to have a happy life. You know, they're, you know, if they have to take care of, you know, if they have a brother or sister or something,
yeah,
and maybe have to take care of them or they get beat up by them, it's, the house is often somewhat chaos. It's never, when you go to somebody's house where there's a man and a woman, and they can both work, there's no problem with women working, especially, you know, when kids are in school all day.
Yeah, sure.
And so, I'm not saying, you know, father knows best, you know, one of those old TV shows. It's, you know, you work it out however you want. The guy wants to stay home and cook and clean,
yeah,
and take care of kids. Well, fuck, let him do it. and the wife can be out there, be a real meat eater corporate exec. But so many guys, so many people look at the figures for divorce, and unlike the exemplary way that your mother and I brought you up, even though we were separated all your life,
Yep.
We still made your life peaceful.
Yeah,
Not have any
true.
home strife
Yeah,
ever.
true.
And that's one of the reasons I think that you're so much for the traditional male-female relationship, the old 1950s, and because before that, a lot of people, divorce just wasn't an option.
I gotta get back.
So, let me just finish. And so they were stuck with somebody, and it was just, life is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short.
Yeah.
The guy only wishes it was solitary.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's why Daniel Boone and all those guys, why weren't they home taking care of their family instead of out, for Davy Crockett getting killed at the Alamo?
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to stay home.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't nice there. So, I mean, it was, so now there's so many just mostly female-run households.
Yep.
That, so you got, on the girl's side, you got mom trashing men all the time, and what a problem they are, and how they're looking for Mr. Perfect or whatever. And on the other side, you got the son there with a mom who kind of has a permanent fucking case of the ass against men.
Yep.
And I know I had a mom like that.
Yep.
So, but nobody ever talks about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to just insert that thought because tremendously, I've since I get older I get, the less I do, and more time I have to sit and just sit and think about things. And this occurred to me a few years ago, and I refine the thought every once in a while. But this is I think it's a key issue.
Yeah. All right.
It's not just auxiliary point. I think it's a key issue. So,
all right. Well, thanks. Yeah. No, he's definitely right. I mean, like it's guys and people that don't have any foundation for what a normal relationship looks like. So they look at like anime or somebody like Andrew Tate, and they're like, "Oh, this is what a man does. This is being a man means having this car."
Farm? Do you want to live in a shed in the woods and make pie? God, not you and Shoe on Head. I mean, what is your ultimate dream? Do you want to travel the world? Do you want a nice big family one day? Do you want to own a farm? Do you want to live in a shed in the woods and make pipe bombs? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you soon with a new video.
Oh.
Bye!
Yeah, no, I think so. What color is your Bugatti? Yeah, no, I think this is a great video. I really do. I held off on watching this for a while because I've just been focused on, like World War III potentially, right? That's been kind of like a topic. And so that's really it. And I'll link you guys the video. Make sure to give it a like. I mean, I think this is a great video. And should videos also not? Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think it's a fair take on it, especially from like a female perspective, right? I mean, like, because that's going to be a little bit different than the way guys look at it. And I think also like a lot of guys, there's just a lot. Honestly, if people that are on the internet all the time talking about this bullshit, there's a reason why they're on the internet, right? I mean, that's a reason for it, and it's that simple. You have people that like go on the internet and then they put their own opinions and their own fucking like personal problems on the internet, and nobody ever thinks about like the fact that's like, if you're really a pleasant, nice person to be around, why are you spending all day on the internet every single day, right? Unless it's your job or something like that. And so some people, there's reasons for it. Some people, there's not. And whenever I go and I hear somebody talking about this stuff, and that's it. What do you get hyped about Souls-like? No, it piss you off? Well, I mean, I get excited. Well, because I just don't like playing it on stream, right? That's all. I don't like playing, I don't like playing really difficult games on stream because I don't like that kind of content, right? Like, I like to just kind of go through stuff simply. And that's it. And Los Angeles Dodgers this morning, ICE agents came to Dodger Stadium and requested permission to access the parking lots. They were denied entry to the grounds of the organization. Tonight's game will be played as scheduled. Yeah, I mean, again, if they don't have a warrant, I think that's fine. I mean, they can't just go around, you know, investigating everything without a warrant or without any prior cause. Sure. But, you know, again, like turning around something like that, they said that was fake. It's fake news. Yeah, I have no idea. I said it was a lie.